There is a long running thread on the Kiwi farms about a bunch of litigant trannies in the UK, um, centered around someone named, like, legally named Stephanie Hayden. I don't know the full detail of this, and I really don't give a fuck. Stephanie Hayden is has like criminal convictions, is a gross litigant tranny, has been in the courts for years and years, and has been seriously harassing a Catholic advocate in the UK named Carolyn Farrow. There is a chance that I will do an interview with Carolyn Farrow against her better judgment in the next week or so. I'll let you know because she's asked me to do an interview before, and I said maybe, and now is probably the appropriate time to do that. Uh, Carolyn has been harassed legally by this tranny for years, literally years, at her own expense and at her family's expense because she has children. Um, and the police have done literally nothing to help her from this harassment. Stephanie Hayden has showed up at Carolyn Farrow's house, has harassed her Catholic organization that her husband works for, and so on and so forth. The only person being penalized for this is Carolyn Farrow. The police are taking the tranny's side every time. The tranny will allege all sorts of shit, and the police don't have the interest to actually investigate and do their jobs, and they will presume Carolyn Farrow guilty every time because of the United Kingdom. You do not have to be proven guilty. If the government wants to assume that you're guilty, that is their prerogative. So recently, what has happened is that, well, not recently, a little step back, we're getting closer. Stephanie Hayden began alleging that a bunch of users on the Kiwi farms making fun of him were Carolyn Farrow, posting on sock accounts. Carolyn Farrow saw this and decided, you know what I'll do? This is probably not a good idea, but this is what she decided to go with. I will make my own account on the Kiwi farms under my real name, and I will post as myself so that there can be absolutely no ambiguity and who is saying belongs to whose mouth. So she joins, and she's been an active user on the forum for I think a couple of years now. I think since like 2019, maybe even earlier. But she's been posting under her own name in her thread in regards to her litigation with this tranny. This has not stopped Stephanie Hayden from alleging over years, filing tons and tons of police reports, claiming that by posting in that thread, Carolyn Farrow is engaging in harassment, indirect harassment, and getting people to bully and say mean things about Hayden on the internet. And that's what this is about, that people are calling Stephanie Hayden, who I believe has a criminal offense for sex crimes related to children. Could be wrong. There's some weird shit where he ran like a website lusting over young boys or something, saying like, "Oh, that's a nice young fella," and it was really creepy and weird. I don't know if that led to a conviction or not, but that's what I was informed by the thread. And people make fun of Hayden for this because it is vile and disgusting, and he blames over every time that this is all Carolyn Farrow's fault. He has filed so many complaints to the police, and they just accept them at face value because they don't want to be called bigoted. They don't want to be called transphobic. Would be ashamed to be called transphobic. By the way, I think that the police that she's dealing with are the Surrey police. So whenever you see those pictures of the faggots in the big round LGBTQIA plus rainbow ball and like the gay pictures of all the gay shit the police do, I'm pretty sure that's all the Surrey police in the UK. And she has to deal with those people. So every time Hayden complains, it goes to these freaks who are lazy and insipid and stupid. They accept them at face value. They do no investigative police work, and they presume guilt every time because they're legally enabled to do so, because the United Kingdom does not have a justice system. It is a fucking joke. It is a travesty. And it is what the English deserve. But I feel like I would bring this to your people's attention because what they have just unveiled to Carolyn Farrow as their plan to deal with her egregious house postings indirect house postings on the Kiwi farms is so um so unbelievably dystopian that it kind of defies logic and comprehension. It's something that you would expect in China, but it is in the UK, and it will be in places like the New Zealand and Australia and Canada very soon, because all those Commonwealth countries are the same sort of shit. Probably Germany, France, and the rest. So here's your preview to the future. Don't say I didn't tell you so. Carolyn Farrow on Twitter says, I'm going to do a thread and limit replies. You'll see why. Please do not speculate with names, but I think this is what is happening to me is important. I am not prohibited from talking about things in general terms. On Monday afternoon, my solicitor received bizarre communication from the Surrey police solicitors. He thought it had to do with my civil claim against them. After some miscommunication, they sent through a bundle for a court hearing. I am due in court tomorrow, so that would be yesterday. The police asked that physical paperwork related to the court hearing against me in 2 days was withheld from me. They wanted me to go to court hearing without access to the accusations and alleged evidence. Surrey police have applied for a stalking protection order as a result of material I have posted on Twitter. On page 1 of the bundle, repeated misgendering is cited. So, charge 1, misgendering. This is the prohibitions that they are seeking to impugn Carolyn Farrow with. Oh, sorry, let me put this on screen. Oh, wait, it was on screen. I just minimized it real quick. Here's what they want to put her under. I will be assigned a offender manager. Think like a probation officer in the United States. I will not be allowed to use any social media, social networking, gaming, or dating site without the offender manager's written permission and having supplied them with the username and passwords for all sites within 3 days. In addition, the following requirements are added. 1. Police officers will be allowed to enter your registered addresses between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. at any time to conduct a risk assessment, monitor devices, and manage compliance of the order. Number 2. Provide your offender manager with any mobile, digital, or internet-enabled devices for examination, review, and monitoring purposes immediately upon request. You must also provide your offender manager with access pins, passwords, or patterns. Examinations. Get this fire hydrant out of the way real quick, because I want to read the rest of that tweet. Examinations may be completed manually on scene or could entail them seizing your devices for examination by agencies contracted by the police for that purpose. So it's not just members of law enforcement, it's random assholes that they hire for the job. Failing to disclose the existence of a device in your possession to your offender manager will count as a failure to comply with this condition. 3. Re-register home address every 12 months at a police station within 365 days of last registration. 4. Provide your offender manager with a list of all mobile, digital, or internet-enabled devices that you own or have access to use. The list must be provided within 3 days of the order being granted or within 3 days of any changes. The officer says this: I believe that while presenting a significant interference with the respondent's privacy rights, it is an appropriate course of action in the circumstances. Signed by the Surrey Police Superintendent, I consider that in accordance with paragraph 2 of Article 8 of the HRA, an interference by this force as a public authority is in accordance with the laws and is necessary. So, if you are listening and you are somebody who has access to a bigger platform, who enjoys a little shit posting at the expense of the British, and would like to bring to the attention that trannies in the UK now have so much power they can effectively put an innocent woman on probation without trial or charge, you may feel free to do so. You can reach out to Carolyn Farrow on her Twitter account, probably, assuming that she's not being monitored. I think she has a list to her solicitor and such. And I may talk to her myself. However, given the stipulations of her offender manager, I don't know how much could be said.